Stanky Framps here with another lesson in a wacky sound education. Hold it, wait, where am I? I'm invisible. I'll explain that in a minute. This is lesson number 5 and the topic is how to be the ideal sound person. I'm going to give you some great tips on how to become the best sound guy or gal that you possibly can be. So you've got your equipment all set up, you're ready to go. What do you do next? One of the ways that you can make sure everything runs smoothly is to check out all of your equipment before the rehearsal begins. And that includes making sure all the mics are live, making sure keyboards and things like that will work. And try to educate the singers so to inform them that the best place for the microphone is about an inch away from their lips, pointed straight down the barrel. Very common for people to show video clips. You will probably be sending the audio signal through your sound system, so make sure that works during the rehearsal. First off, you are the most important member of the band. You can have a lot of great musicians, and you as the sound guy can make them sound horrible, or you can have some not so good musicians and you can make them sound pretty good depending on your mixing abilities. Keep that in mind. You are a member of the band. Let the members of the band know that. Go introduce yourself and say, "Hi, I'm your sound guy and I'm here to get the best possible sound. Let's work on it together." That sounds kind of dorky, but they'll probably really appreciate your help. Since you're the most important member of the band, you have to be there constantly on the entire time the performance is going on. You have to be adjusting the sound through each song so that the optimal sound comes out. You can't set the settings and go to sleep and wake up after the performance is over with. It's a tough part of being a sound guy, but that's why you have to have a servant's heart. Do you know what your objective is as a sound guy? It's to be invisible. You don't want anybody to know you're there. I suggest you wear black and stay in the dark, and nobody's going to appreciate your work. Here are 4 tips on how to keep yourself invisible. The first one is no pops, squeals, or fires. I explained how to fix those things during lesson 3. Number 2 is no abrupt transition. The key thing with no abrupt transitions is typically dealing with canned music. You want to fade it out and fade it in. There's nothing worse than loud music that just stops. You feel like you're in a car and you go, "Er." The third thing is don't miss any cues. There's nothing worse than the band guys up on stage going, everybody in the audience is going to turn around and go, that guy is not invisible. And the fourth thing is mix well. We're going to talk about how to mix in lessons 6 and 7. When I say you are to be invisible, that's really you are to be invisible to the audience. You are not to be invisible to the performers or to the people that you're serving. You want them to know you're there and you're there to help them. You and you alone are the only ones standing out in the audience hearing the mix. And you're responsible for making sure that mix is good and that the sound quality is good around the entire room. Also, if something goes wrong, you're responsible for trying to get it fixed as quickly as possible. So if someone's having trouble with a mic adjustment, be aggressive. Go up there and help them. If there's a connection to a guitar that for some reason the guitar all of a sudden goes dead, the guitarist might be trying to figure it out, but you as the sound guy have to be aggressive and take up a new set of wires, because possibly it's the wire. I'll repeat this in the mixing lesson, but you will be the most adored sound guy if you ask the musicians, are you hearing yourself okay? They can give you feedback and you can make adjustments so that they can do their performance better. A lot of times the guy stands back there at the soundboard and kind of doesn't interact with the band. That's not the ideal sound guy. Alright, so now you've got all your equipment set up and you're ready to come in and do your job as the sound guy. What does that look like? What does that entail? Well, there's actually 2 phases. There's a rehearsal time and there's a live performance time. Let's talk about the rehearsal time. During the rehearsal time, there's several things you need to make sure you do. One is never get stuck behind the mixing board and not move away from it. When the rehearsal is going on, that's the time when you've got the sound coming out of the house speakers. You need to walk around and see what this room sounds like so that you give the optimal sound to all of the audience. We're going to talk later when you do mixing about how to go up onto the stage and hear what the musicians are hearing. Even during a live performance, you would like to subtly be able to walk a little bit around the room or walk away from your mixing board to make sure that you're getting the sound that you expect. During the rehearsal, you want to aggressively experiment with the sound mix. And during the actual performance, you want to be very subtle so that the people in the audience will not hear any subtle changes in the sound. So that wraps it up for how to be the ideal sound guy or girl. As you start doing performances, come back and look at this video and remind yourself of these tips, and you will be the most beloved sound guy in the world, even though to the audience, you're invisible. But to the performers and to the people who are running the event, they'll love you. This is Stanky Framps with another wacky sound education lesson. Be sure to catch the next 2 lessons on how to mix.